Learn along with me.
Hey guys, my name is Ritu Sajdev. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how you can give awesome animations in your website with minimal of coding. Before going into action, let me show you at a glance the animations you can have on your elements on your web page. See here, I have the list of animations here. Like if I select shake here, see this text is shaking. Or if I will go for rubber band, we have this rubber band animation. Or if I will go for this swing, we have this swing sort of animation. So we have a complete list here, like simply fed in. So this text is faded in. Or if I will say fed out right, you see this text was fed out right. Or like if I will say Philip, you can see this text is having Philip animation. So likewise you can have lots of fun using this animations in your web page. And like we can also control the delay for this animation. We can also control the duration for this animation. And I will also show you, you can also control the number of times your animation should run. And we will also connect this animations with jQuery so that when you will click on this button, that animation should happen. So let's get started. Here I am with very basic setup for this document. You see, on the line number 6, I have latest compiled and minified jQuery file, which you can easily get from jQuery.com. And in the body of document, you see, I have a div. Inside that div, I have a button with a class of btn and some text on it, click me. In this btn class, I'm saying to the button, have the width of 100 pixels, height of 50 pixels, background color is coral, border radius as 10 pixels, font weight is equals to bold, color is equals to white. And when I hover on this button, the color should change to sky blue. So let's save it up this much and let's see the browser preview so far. Here we go. See, I have this button and when I hover on it, the color changes to sky blue. And you see, on the line number 27, I have this rule button column focus outline column 0. When I will remove this code completely, save it up, see the browser preview as I am previewing this document in Chrome. See the browser preview. You see when I click on this button, I have this ugly blue border here. To get rid of this ugly blue border, I'm applying this rule. So let's save it up again. See, again I reload my page. That ugly border does not exist anymore when I click on this button. Now let's proceed to have Animate.css in this document so that we can provide animations to it. So let me Google something. Animate.css. Here you go. Let me click on this first link from this denidon.github.io animate.css. Let's click on it. See, there are number of effects here which you can give to your element. This is bounce in left. You can also see the preview. This is swing. This is bounce out down. Fade out big, fade out right big. Philip. So it's really a fun. Let's try to have this animation effects in our document. So let's click on download animate.css. See, this animate.css is downloaded. Let me check out my downloads folder. Here we go. I have this animate.css here. So let me cut it off from here or copy it, and let's go to our local folder. This is my local folder. Let's paste it here. So we have this animate.css here and animate.html, the one on which we are working. And you see, you can also create a separate folder for all of your CSS files. Now let's go to our code editor. Let's link up this animate.css here. So let me have my link tag. href is equals to browse. Let me browse the file. Here we go. So this animate.css is linked up here, and let's have rel relation is equals to style sheet, type is equals to text /css. So let's save it all. You see, this animate.css is here, and these are CSS rules for all the animations we can use. So here again I'm on my source code. See, I already have a class btn there. So let's apply multiple classes here. I want to apply animation on this button. The second class I will apply is animated. It's a compulsion. You should have this animated class before applying any animation to the element. Now the third class will be the animation which we want to apply. That could be bounce, bounce in, bounce out, or again we have the list of animation which we have already seen on this animation.css. Simply you can go for the preview and apply that class here if you wish, or simply I will choose the class shake. Let's save it up. See, now when I reload my page, I have this shaking button, but it happens only for the one time. Now what we can do to loop it again and again, simply we can add one more class here. After this animated, we can have the class infinite. So infinite class will allow this animation to loop again and again. See, when I reload my page, this animation is continuously running. Now let's try to have some other animation instead of shake. Simply I will change the name of class here. Instead of shake, let's have some other class. So I will choose this class rubber band. Let's save it up. Let's reload. See, we have rubber band effect. Now what else we can do with this animate.css is we can change the delay of animation, we can change the duration of animation, or we can also control how many times we want this animation to run. So let us again go to animate.css on GitHub. Now let's click on view on GitHub. Here we go. See, when I scroll down, this is how you can apply the animation. The same thing we did. Animated class is there, infinite class is there, bounce effect is there. Here we go. See, with this chunk of code, you can change the duration, delay and iteration count. Iteration count stands for the loop, how many times you want to run your animation. So let's copy this chunk of code. Let me paste it here on this btn class. Let me get rid of this vendor. It means you should have necessary prefix for all the browsers, like you should also have the regular syntax like this, and let me copy it and paste it again. Now what they are saying, instead of vendor we have to replace it with the prefix of all the browser. See here, when I have this hyphen sign, you see I have this option here in the code editor. The first prefix most stands for Mozilla Firefox users. The second prefix stands for Internet Explorer users MS. The third prefix O stands for Opera users. The fourth prefix WebKit stands for Chrome and Safari. So I will only go with WebKit. But you should have all the necessary prefix for all of the browsers. Although this animation property may run without having this prefix, but still I recommend to have all the prefix before your CSS3 animations property. So let's have it, and let me have WebKit before all of the properties. Simply you can copy and paste it again and replace it with Moz OMS. You see here, the default duration given here is 3 seconds, delay is 2 seconds, animation iteration count is infinite. Let's remove this infinite class here as it is duplicated now. Let's save it up. Let's see the browser preview and let's see this duration, delay and iteration. So let's reload this page. You can see the duration is 3 seconds. The animation is running very slow, and when I reload my page, notice that there is delay of 2 seconds. See, and animation is running infinite times. So we can control such things. Let's change these values and let's see the browser preview again. So again let me go to my code editor, and here we go, we have this property here. So now the duration for animation, let's have 1 second, or you can have 0.5 seconds, whatever you prefer. So right now I'm going for 1 second. Delay, let there be no delay, so let me have 0 second. And just to feel the animation iteration count, let me have it for only 2 times. So again let me change this values for this in WebKit prefix. So delay again 0, and instead of infinite 2. Let's save it up. Let's reload. See, there is no delay. Animation only ran for 2 times and the duration of animation was only 1 second. Let me reload it again. Right? So you can play with these values. For now I'm removing all of these values as we have already seen how we can customize it. Now again when I will reload my page, I have this default animation given by this Animate.css. Only single time animation runs, as there is no infinite class now. Now what if I want to execute this animation when I click on this button? Instead of reloading this page, when I click on this button, this animation should run. So what we can do is, we can apply this classes along with the jQuery. Let's write a little bit jQuery code in our code editor. So let's go to our code editor. And you see we already have this minified version for jQuery on this head section. Now let's write something for this in jQuery. So before this closing of body tag, let me have script tag. Let's close this script tag. Now what we can do is, we can have pound sign, bracket, document, close that bracket of dot ready function here, dot ready. So when the document is ready, we can do this function. So let's remove this event, which stands for event handler. And what we can do is, when the document is ready, we want to click our button. So what we can write is £. Now we are targeting our .btn class here. So simply I will say in the quotation mark .btn. You can also target any HTML tag, any class, or any hash. If you are targeting any tag, you don't have to use dot. If you are targeting any class, you should have dot here. If you are targeting any ID, you should have, instead of dot, hash there. So right now I'm targeting .btn, which is a class. Now dot on. So after this on, in the bracket, let me have this click, comma, the function I want to add. So the syntax is function opening brackets, the syntax is opening closing round bracket, then this curly brackets, then this closing of this main round bracket. So inside this curly bracket we will write our function. So when I click on the button, I want to add this classes. Simply again I will have this £. Either I can write this, or either I can mention the name of class again. This stands whatever we have used recently. So this dot. Now we want to add the class. So add class name. Now we want to add the classes. So we will remove this, both of these classes from here and add it here. Along with this single quote. Once again I repeat. See, we are saying when the document is ready, when we click on the button, add this classes animated and rubber band. So let's save it up. You see, now when I click on this button, I have this effect. It only happens for one time. Now what if I want to have this animation again and again? Suppose again I click on this button, I want to have this animation. So what we can do is, let's reload this page and let's right click on it. Let's do inspect element. Let's see what code is affecting that to stop that animation for doing that animation again. So let's inspect this element. Here we go. We have this button class with btn, some text on it, closing button tag. So when I will click on it, you can see when I clicked on this button, I have this classes. Now what we can do is, we can write some jQuery code again to remove these classes after the first time execution. So that again when we click on this button, this classes should add here. So let's do something again in jQuery. Here again I'm on my code editor. Let's go to view on github.com again. Here we go. This is what we have already done. To our element we have applied the class using click function. Now we can detect when an animation ends. So let's copy this chunk of code which says WebKit animation and Moz animation and MS animation and all the necessary prefixes are there and the regular syntax is there. Then after that do something. So let's copy this chunk of code and let's paste it here. So here we are saying to end the animation, and instead of do something, let's have some function here. So comma function, again the regular syntax for it, the round bracket, opening closing curly brackets. Now inside this curly bracket we will apply some code to remove this class once this animation is over. So let's again have our pound sign. Again I can use this as I'm targeting the same element. So this dot. Now this time we will have remove class. So the name of class will be there again. So let me copy this and paste it here. Always add class and remove class should be same. Obviously we are applying these two classes, so we need to remove these two classes. Simply close the bracket and let's save it up and let's see browser preview. See, when I reload my page, see, when I click on this button, I have these classes which are immediately removed. And again when I will click on this button, see, again I have these classes. So now I have capability to execute that animation again and again when I click on this button. Simply with this dot remove class. Let's close this inspect element. See, isn't it cool? Now let's try to make this code short. So just by declaring a variable we can make this code bit shorter. So var space animation name is equals to, now we will copy this name of animation here. Now instead of writing all those animation again and again in our code, simply we can write animation name there once we are declaring it as a variable. So let me remove it, have animation name here, again the same. And you see, if I want to change the animation, simply I can change it only for the one time rather than changing it again and again. And let's have one more variable here for animation and is equals to, let me copy this whole chunk of code here, all of the prefix and the regular syntax, and paste it here. Now again, instead of writing this complete code, I can have simply animation and. See, when I will save up my document and reload my page, there will be no change. When I click on this button, this animation executes very same as it was doing earlier. And suppose I want to change the name of class, instead of rubber band effect, I want to have shake effect. So I don't have to change it again and again on the add class, remove class, or whatever the code I have. Simply I will change it only for the one time in the variable declaration. So let's save it up and let's reload. See, now when I click on this button, I have this shake effect. Now let's try to have more fun with it. See, let me have something in this body of document inside this div. Let's have in h1 tag I am some text. Let's close this h1 tag. See, when I click on this button, I want this h1 tag to be targeted so that this animation should affect on this text. So what we can do is, instead of this here, let's have h1 tag. And to remove the class, I can use this, as again I am targeting this h1. So when I click on this button, this animation classes should be added to h1. So let's save it up. Let's reload. You see, I have this text here. I am some text. And now when I click on this button, this text is shaking.
So this is done, friends, and if you like this video of mine, do thumb it up. Do not forget to subscribe me, and if you want to learn these subjects directly from me, do contact me. Have a good day. Bye bye.